So let's call it crime, no punishment. Happening all over the country, mostly in urban centers. The rural areas and suburbs are calmer. But in the big cities run by liberal politicians, you are not safe. Period. Boston is the best of them, and that's a fairly liberal city. I am going to go up there and investigate why Boston has managed to maintain control of the criminal element, whereby New York, Boston's big rival, Philadelphia, D.C., Chicago, L.A., St. Louis, Baltimore, on and on and on and on, have not. So I don't know what Boston's doing, but I'm going to find out. Now, as we reported yesterday, the man who shot and killed 31-year-old Detective Jonathan Diller was a career criminal. We went over that in micro detail. If you missed it, go to BillO'Reilly.com. We have the segments. We have the stats. If you're a concierge member, you can get the transcript. Okay? There is no two sides to that story. This man was dangerous, and the New York authorities let him out. Last April, a year ago, he was arrested for carrying an illegal firearm, even though he was a twice convicted felon and served time. In a year, that case wasn't even heard. And he's out on the street, and he gets another firearm and kills the detective. That's not a justice system. That's a collapse. And again, no two sides to the story. That's what that is. Now, perhaps the most powerful politician in New York State is a man named Carl Heastie. Carl Heastie. He is the Assembly Speaker in Albany, and he wields tremendous power. If you go up against Heastie, he can cut off your money. He can make your life miserable. So the leftists in Albany do what he says. Heastie admits flat out he is not going to enforce the laws of the state. Go.
I just don't believe raising penalties is ever a deterrent on crime. There's already things in current law to deal with people who assault other people.
That's not true, because the laws on the books are not being enforced, and Heastie well knows it, because that's the way Heastie wants it. So he is from the Bronx. And in the Bronx, you have many, many, many poor people. That's Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez's turf. Those poor people see life differently, even though they're being brutalized every single day by criminals. You see it differently. I'll get into that some other time. Now, in New York City, we reported on a man named Manuel Pagan, major narcotics dealer. He was arrested with 20,000 fentanyl pills. 20,000. How many people that can kill? You do. All right? You know what he got? He pled guilty because they found him with the pills. You know what he got? 2 years in prison. And he'll be out in a year and a half. 2 years. 20,000 pills. Fentanyl. Poison. Okay, how about the two men who beat up the police officers in the Bronx on November 13th, 2023? Their case hasn't even been assigned yet. Okay, so it's April, right? That's 4 months plus. They're due back in court June 3rd. Nothing's going to happen to them. Push it back. Why? You got it on videotape. That should have taken 3 weeks. Court date, bang. Doesn't want to do it. They don't want to do it. Even if you beat up a cop or kill a cop. It's so unbelievable. So now you present all of this to the President of the United States. He is well aware. Well, that might be exaggerating it. He's been told about the violence in America's cities. And it's primarily driven by narcotics and guns because the drug gangs are armed. Here's what his press secretary said last week. Go.
This shooting is yet another painful reminder of the toll of gun violence, that what it's doing to inflict on families and our communities and our nation. And that's why the president signed more than 24 executive actions. That's why we're able to pass a bipartisan agreement to deal with the gun violence that we're seeing in this country. Obviously, more work needs to be done.
So it's always gun violence, not gun criminal violence. It's the guns that are doing it, not the criminals. And we've heard that a million times in the Democratic Party. That is their line. And it's total malarkey. If President Biden cared at all about the issue, which he does not, and this comes under a long line of things he doesn't care about, the southern border being number one. If he cared about criminals using guns to hurt other Americans, there's an amazing amount of things that he could do about it. He does nothing. He didn't even talk about it. Everything is expensive these days, you know that. The government is printing trillions of dollars and consumer prices higher than ever. If the government continues its printing and spending, the dollar could continue its free fall and lose its coveted role as the world reserve currency. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But there are a few things you can do right now. American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your money, your retirement, your hard-earned savings against inflation by helping you diversify a portion of your portfolio into physical gold and silver. Start with a short phone call, and they can have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your 401k or IRA. So please call or text them right now. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.